What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs, and I've got 6 big takeaways from the Kansas City Chiefs' first preseason game that we just watched last night. We'll talk about it right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another video on my channel. So football is finally back as the Kansas City Chiefs played their first preseason game of the 25 NFL season last night against the Arizona Cardinals. They ended up dropping the game, which doesn't really matter, but I've got 6 big takeaways that I want to talk about from this game, things that I noticed that I watched that stood out to me while watching the game. Maybe you guys can offer some differing perspective in the comments if you agree with me or disagree with me on any of these takeaways. I'll definitely be interested. But these are the 6 things I noticed. I tried to split them up, by doing 3 positive things, kind of 3 negative things. I wanted to keep it fair with the takeaways that I had, although sometimes it does seem like I offer a pessimistic point of view. I definitely saw some things that I liked, but without further ado, let's get into the takeaways. So the first one that I put down was the left side of the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the first glimpse we got at that new left side with Josh Simmons at left tackle, Kingsley Suamataia at left guard. And overall, I thought it looked pretty solid in the first preseason game. Now, they weren't out there that long. I think Josh Simmons only played 11 snaps. I believe Kingsley did as well. Kingsley did get beat on one play where he did not pick up the linebacker that was coming at him. But outside of that, I thought he did okay. I saw some people on Twitter saying, oh, he didn't look good. Oh, when do we be worried about Kingsley? I went back and watched the snaps. I didn't think Kingsley looked that bad. And he definitely had some really good run blocking snaps as well. Josh Simmons, similar story there. You didn't see anything overwhelming from him positively, but he didn't do anything to look bad or make you go, oh man, I don't think this is going to work. And Baron Browning, who by all accounts has had a really good camp for the Arizona Cardinals, he was not able to get past Josh Simmons in any of his pass rushing snaps in which he went up against him. Mahomes got the ball out pretty quick, though, in that first game, so you didn't get to see a true test of what this offensive line looks like. But there was one play where I believe Mahomes threw a pass intended for Tyquan Thornton. I could be wrong about the target, but it was a very clean pocket, and I was watching, and I'm like, wow, when is the last time we've seen Mahomes throw from a pocket like that? It looked really good, and it was with Kingsley Suamataia and Josh Simmons in there. So all things considered, I think those guys had a good first preseason game. And Josh Simmons, the thing I was looking for from him is don't go out there and commit a bunch of penalties. That's been kind of like my biggest concern, with him being the new left tackle, being a rookie. I'm thinking to myself, are you going to do anything that's going to, bring back a huge play? Are you going to let your emotions get the best of you and start a fight on the field and get a 15-yard penalty? That didn't happen. So that was a good thing. Then my second takeaway that I had, and this is one that I think a lot of Chiefs fans are going to agree with. This is someone that we've kind of unfortunately had to hit on a lot on my channel, but Nazeeh Johnson, the cornerback, it's almost like every time he's on the field, he just does nothing well. And you've kind of been waiting for it from him because Steve Spagnuolo and the coaches seem to love him and they keep giving him chance after chance after chance. But I'm not seeing anything now. And I think this is year 3 of Nazeeh Johnson. And I'm just not seeing anything that tells me he belongs on an NFL roster. He was bad last season for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's been bad in preseason again this year. I'm just not seeing it from him. I saw some people on social media saying, oh, he had some good plays. Yeah, well, he's getting targeted all the time. So naturally he's going to accrue some PBUs and whatnot. But I mean, on half the other snaps that he played, he got burnt. He gave up a touchdown. He committed multiple penalties, although I think they only called one of them. But it's just it's getting ridiculous at this point. Every time that Nazeeh Johnson is on the field, he is a liability. There's absolutely no way this guy should make the roster. And I kind of said this last night, but when you're comparing a GM like Brett Veach to a GM like Howie Roseman, and that's a debate that I feel like has happened a lot this offseason after what we saw the Eagles do to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'm just going to say it. Najee Johnson is the type of player, that if Howie Roseman was running the show, he would have been gone a year ago. This is the type of player that would never sniff a Philadelphia Eagles roster. There's no reason he should be on the Chiefs roster. The fact that he's on the depth chart over Joshua Williams, I think, is wrong. I just disagree, and I'm not saying Joshua Williams is a world beater, but he's better than Najee Johnson. But I've already spent way too much time on Najee Johnson, so I want to move on to my third takeaway. Tyquan Thornton, the wide receiver, I think he had another good showing in this first preseason game. Could have been even better, but I know there was one play where he got free, and I think it was Bailey Zappi was the quarterback, just missed him, just overshot him, but he was open, and that's kind of been the theme of this offseason is Tyquan Thornton getting open in a way that we haven't really seen him do in his career. Now, I know a lot of Patriots fans have warned, like, hey, this is a guy that always seems to have good camps and preseasons, and then you get to the season, he doesn't really do anything. But the difference here with the Kansas City Chiefs is he's not being counted on to be one of your top 4, top 5 receivers. I mean, Juju's still ahead of him. Hollywood Brown's ahead of him. Rashee Rice is ahead of him. Jalen Royals is ahead of him. But this is a guy that I think is trending towards making the team. I mean, when they brought him in, it's like, okay, we'll see what he has. And now you've seen what he has. He's done everything right. So why bring someone in only for them to do everything right and still not let them on the team? I think he's done everything to deserve a roster spot. As your number 6 wide receiver, if the Chiefs keep 6, like I'm fine with that. I think Sky Moore and Nico Remigio are definitely in danger of losing their spot to Tyquan Thornton because he's just done a lot to solidify his spot on the team. And the biggest thing that I've noticed is that Mahomes really seems to like him. Mahomes seems to have a lot of trust in him. And that's a big thing when you're trying to make this team. So really like what I've seen out of Tyquan Thornton still. Number 4, I put linebacker depth. Kind of got exposed a little bit, which is not a terrible thing because, you really never play more than 3 to 4 guys. And we already know who their big 3 guys are. You have Leo Chanel, Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton. Those guys aren't going to come off the field much. And then you have the rookie Jeffrey Bassa, who I actually think looked pretty good last night. But, Jack Cochran, Cam Jones, those guys, as soon as they came in, it was like the offense just started picking on them over and over again. So that's something that if you wanted to point out an issue, that's definitely one of them right there. And then number 5 on my list, and I'm really excited about this, is Janarius Robinson. I think is trending towards making this team. If we can get more of what we saw from him last night on this team, I mean, I think that should get you a roster spot because we know that the Chiefs need help at edge rush. Ashton Gelati, a lot of people are excited about. George Karlaftis just got paid this offseason. Mike Dan is still hanging around. Charles Menahue's here, but, he's even struggled to kind of stay healthy throughout training camp. You're going to need some insurance there. I think someone to give you some juice off the edge, and Janarius Robinson gives you that. There was a really nice play he had last night that resulted in a sack where he was able to turn the corner, take advantage of the hip angle of the right tackle, and then just closed on the quarterback like that. I mean, really good closing speed we saw from him. And this is a guy that was drafted a couple years ago. I believe he had an off-the-field incident that caused him to be released, but the Chiefs have given him a chance this offseason. He's actually signed pretty late in the offseason and brought into camp, and I think he's made the most of his opportunities so far. I really like what he brings to the table. If he could sneak onto the roster and give you something as a pass rusher, that would be a massive win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Definitely want to see more from him in the next preseason game, though. And then number 6, unfortunately, a negative note on the edge rushers, but Felix Anudike-Uzomah was playing late into the fourth quarter last night, and we kind of anticipated this coming into the game, but just to see it is really disappointed. We know what it means to be playing late into the fourth quarter of a preseason game, and that's unfortunately where Felix Anudike-Uzomah is at in year 3. Now, I don't think he's in danger of getting cut or anything like that. I mean, he's a rookie pass rusher under a contract. The Chiefs still see something in him, I think. But, I mean, man, year 3, the thing is, with these young players, right, you spent a first-round pick on FAU. He's going into year 3. When you're in there against the third and fourth stringers of the opposing team, that's the kind of situation where you kind of need to be dominating the opposition and showing something. And Felix just really isn't. I mean, he's going in there, going up against third and fourth stringers, and he just looks like another guy out there on the field. That's not what you want to see out of your first round pick from 3 years ago. But that's just kind of where we're at with Felix Anudike-Uzomah, and it's really sad because, you know, I want it really bad for him. It would be great if he turned into something, but it's just becoming increasingly clear to me that he's just not a great football player, and he's still struggling with some of the same things as when he was a rookie. Sometimes he looks slow off the ball. He struggles disengaging with the blocker. It's just the same thing, man, with FAU. I mean, if he gives you anything next year, I mean, I'll take that as a win because at this point, I don't really have any expectations. But those were my 6 takeaways from the Kansas City Chiefs' first preseason game. Definitely want to see more development from a lot of guys in the second preseason game. I think we'll get a clearer picture of what the roster is going to look like after that. There's still some guys, I think, fighting for a spot. There's maybe some guys that played themselves off the roster last night or played themselves onto the roster. Definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts, though, and definitely want to hear what you guys think of my 6 takeaways. But that's all I got for this video. So with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com for more. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.